Welcome to Geek on Film with your hosts, Robbie Holmes and John Hosch. Hey folks, welcome back to our 2022 year in review, all of our favorites. We had a call in audible. The last episode was getting long and we decided we wanted to break it into two parts on the fly, or at least I did, and John didn't really shoot me down. So we're back and we're ready
I
to.
did a spit take. I was drinking coffee out of my Geek on Film mug, and he said we're cutting, and I did a spit take. But we're gonna edit that out, so you didn't hear it.
So we're gonna jump back in. Our last one before this was our favorite Lego sequel, and John surprised me with Jackass Forever. We're gonna jump into favorite performance of a male presenting actor. So, what is your first? How many do you have, and who's your first?
I kept it tight. I
Okay,
only did two.
I did two also. Go for it.
I'm gonna go with the. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say Ki Hui Kwan from Everything Everywhere All at Once first.
Yep. Okay.
What an incredible story. What an incredible performance. We have not seen him on screen really since he played Short Round and Data in Indiana Jones Temple of Doom and the Goonies. Was going to give up on the business, as I think about doing every day of my life. And then this came along, and he is incredible in the movie.
He is.
He leaves everything on the screen. He gets to be vulnerable. He gets to be a badass. He gets to be sexy. Like, there's a part where like they just put him in a suit, and you're like, yeah, dude, that dude's sexy.
Yeah.
Um,
He's like Decision to Leave sexy. Like Tony Leung, like he's unbelievable in this movie. He really
yeah,
is. You've
I
chosen correctly, sir.
I truly hope that this movie is reopening doors for him, and I hope that we see him do a lot more interesting, exciting films in the future.
He was on my short list. I decided to focus a little bit more here on people I don't know that we did title this as favorite performances.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Austin Butler from Elvis. I think
Right on.
that movie is may or may not be a hot mess based on the take of how you feel it, but I don't know that I've seen anybody embody a biopic character, and not just the character, but the caricature of who he
Mm-hmm.
is.
Right.
Uh, like, my favorite scene I mentioned earlier, where he becomes a superhero on stage. It's that for like 3 hours. Like
Yeah.
the final sequences where he's singing on stage and sweating profusely. Like he's embodying, because they do a smash cut to Elvis himself. And
Mm-hmm.
and it's unbelievable. They don't play up the caricature nature of like a fat suit or any, but boy, like he feels like he's channeling Elvis.
When I very very much agree with you that this is an incredible performance. When you're talking about at the end, when the credits start rolling and they
Yeah.
start showing actual footage, I didn't realize that was actual footage. I thought it was new footage that they did with him and then just doctored it to make it look like old film stock.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is fantastic. He is Elvis. So much so, I mean, people are saying that like he can't let go. Like
Yeah.
if you watch and this is not, I'm not like bagging, tagging whatever on him at all. Like, but people are saying like if you look at interviews before he did this movie and interviews after this movie, he can't shake being Elvis. And his performance is that good. I think that, yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
I think when we often talk about it, right? Like if you see him in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I rewatched that recently. His portrayal of Tex, right? Your eye is drawn to him in a
Mm,
way that you can't understand. And I remember that character and didn't know it was him.
mm.
And
I didn't know
seeing
either.
rewatching the film and then rewatching a little bit of Elvis again, he is it's not just good looking. He's you get lost in his looks, especially as Elvis.
Hmm.
Like the eyeliner, the hair, the pinks, like it's all that he embodied a character that we all know from society in a way that felt new and vibrant and unique. And it's
Hmm.
not a caricature. He made this superhero feel grounded in a hyper realistic movie at times, and that's unbelievable. Like, I think this might be one of the softer awards categories this year. I think there's a lot of chaos in the best actor,
Hmm.
whereas best supporting I think is a very different story. I think he's got a real chance of at a very young age getting an Academy Award.
I I fear for his career because I think that this is such an iconic
Yeah,
performance that I think not only can he not get away from it, I don't know if many other people will be able to get away from it. I think it's that iconic, to be honest.
yeah,
I know apparently he is campaigning hard to be Johnny Storm in the new Fantastic
I
Four
know.
movie,
Yeah,
but I'm like, Elvis on fire. I don't know. We'll see. You know what? It's like I will give him the benefit of the doubt to surprise me and show me his versatility. But man, oh man, when I look at it, he just recently hosted Saturday Night Live,
yep,
and I was like, cool, Elvis is on Saturday Night Live, and then he sang, and he sang like Elvis. So who knows?
yeah,
Whatever. I mean, some people just need that one role, so that's
yep.
cool.
What's your number two?
Again, I mean, I'm par for course. If you've listened to part one of this, my love fest for Top Gun Maverick, the highest
Yep,
grossing movie of the year, surpassing $1.8 billion. And Tom Cruise is incredible, and not just because he's Tom Cruise. There's something very different in Tom Cruise in this movie.
yeah,
There is a softness and a vulnerability that we have not seen from Tom Cruise in a while, I think.
yep,
And because this movie is about being getting older and not knowing your place and where you fit in and maybe the resistance to passing the torch a little bit, um, you see it that you can't help but look at this as like this is this is this Tom Cruise's career on film in a sense.
yep,
Um, I think my my gut is no, and I think he's like, no, I'm gonna be here forever. You're never gonna get rid of me. Um, but yeah, I think his performances was so surprisingly vulnerable in this movie that
yep,
I really enjoyed it. It's been a while. It's been um, maybe since Vanilla Sky or Jerry Maguire. I
mhm,
think maybe I have not seen a vulnerable Tom Cruise. I could be
yep.
maybe I'm forgetting a movie, but
I think he is that movie doesn't work without him. It doesn't work
sure.
without his grandiose Tom Cruise ness. But what surprised me, is, I'm with you, is the level of vulnerability that the character brings, which I don't know that he does very often.
Hmm.
And I think that was a surprise to me. Um, so I am going to shine a spotlight on probably one of the coolest performances of the year that I don't think we spent enough time talking about because I've thought a lot about it. Sterling K. Brown in "Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul"
Oh.
is unfreaking believable. He is standing toe to toe with one of the most amazing satirical scripts. It was not the movie we all thought it was going to be.
Hmm.
And I think when it comes right down to it, Sterling K. Brown could have been a caricature in this movie, and he was far from that. He is complex. He is he's so charismatic that you believe that he could be a preacher.
Hmm.
Uh, but he's also like there's a sadness in his eyes, and there's a sadness in his soul when he stopped being a character. When he takes off the crown of being the pastor, right? Like, or the cape. There's real sadness in his character, in his soul, about who he is and about
Mhm.
why he is. And Regina Hall spent so much time being the public face and his support. And I think we overlooked Sterling K. Brown watching this film because of how great Regina Hall is in it. But I think the
Mhm.
more I've thought about the film, uh, she needed a person to be her partner, and they are co-leading this movie in a way that I don't think a lot of other two-handers did this year. She's fantastic in it, but I think honestly, the performance he gives should be nominated. I think the story doesn't work without him. It doesn't work without him being believable. It doesn't work without his charisma.
Yeah.
It doesn't work without his ability to be both vulnerable and invulnerable at the same time.
Yeah, that gentleman is incredible from his work on This Is Us. I mean, he was such a awesome badass in The Predator. And yeah, I think he is an actor's actor, I think.
Yeah,
Like he's someone that actors look to for inspiration. And I think he's really incredible. Do you have anybody else on this list?
that's it for me.
Oh, right on. So we're going to transition from favorite performance by a female presenting to
We're heading
from
to
male
female presenting
presenting.
now.
Yep.
Yep.
And
How
same
many do
movie,
you
different
have?
two.
I have three.
So you go first, my friend.
So I think we're almost heading towards an inevitable Academy Award for Kate Blanchett from Tar.
Mm-hmm.
I think that movie is a tour de force for a singular actress. I think
Mm,
there's not a lot of other actors I think that could have pulled off that movie. I don't think there's a lot of actors that would have been able to carry that movie. Such an unlikable, hard edged, stoic, world creating actor. The whole movie revolves around her. She's in like 98% of the scenes or something like that.
yeah.
Um, and it's 3 hours, and you can say what you want about the movie. I saw it as the opening to Middleburg. It was the kickoff movie that was open to the public. It was my first experience in person at a film festival, and
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't have asked for a more film festival-y movie. It was challenging. It was beautiful. And it's all her, right? Like
Yeah.
Todd Fields. Todd Fields, uh, he directs the hell out of this film, but I think it is the turns and the choices that Kate is making, and her ability to carry like full one shot scenes, like the one at the music school where
Mm-hmm.
she gets shot and it's eventually put on social media. Like that scene is going to be on her highlight reel for the rest of her career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think if you listen to our podcast episode about this, yeah, like this movie was really tough for me to watch,
Yeah.
because I feel like it. I don't know. There was something about it that was very triggering for me, but that's not to say that the performance that she gives is, you can I could definitely say is incredible. Um, and maybe like the movie did everything it was supposed to, because I viscerally was like really mad at it when we
Yeah.
got it at the theater. So yeah. Moving on from me to my first choice.
Yep.
Um, um, I think I think I think everyone in this movie is incredible. We already talked about one actor in it, but I also want to say that Stephanie Shu's performance in Everything Everywhere All at Once is incredible, and it's one that it is a it's not just a springboard, it's a cannon that will propel her forward in Hollywood. I don't know if many people know, but she has a long lineage in theater. Right before she was on television, she was on Miss Maisel, and right before she was on Miss Maisel, she was on Broadway. And before Broadway, she was in other theatrical things as well. So she's fantastic. This is a long time coming, uh, I think, and I'm very, you know, very excited to see where her career goes.
I think Best Supporting Actress is the most crowded field of the year. And
Mm.
I'm sad because I think she may not make it on the short list. Uh,
There is a
but
possibility, yeah.
boy, she deserves it. Again, it's another performance that the movie doesn't work unless you believe the many characters she's playing. But
Mhm.
to piggyback off of that, Michelle Yeoh for me is my number two.
Yeah.
I don't think Everything Everywhere All at Once doesn't work without these three actors.
Yeah.
Their story is so intertwined, but Michelle Yeoh finally gets a chance to embrace all aspects of who and what she is as an actor,
Yeah.
and the movie is beautiful and poignant, and we've talked about it a lot. But boy, Michelle Yeoh is the epitome of grace and chaos and beauty and pathos and like everything all at
Mhm.
once, and
Yeah.
that is unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have a third?
I do not have a third. Do you wanna
Yeah, so my third was it's probably the breakout performance of the year for me. Aubrey Plaza in Emily the Criminal
mm,
is fantastic. She is playing an extremely believable character that is playing a millennial who is caught behind the eight ball in wrapped in barbed wire. She's in crazy debt. She's been a felon in the past, can't get a job, ends up finding her way to low level criminality, and sort of blossoms almost like because goes from like a pigeon to a swan or however you want to think about it like she comes to life when she realizes that she can manipulate people and get money and no longer be trapped.
mhm.
I don't know that it's the best film of the year, but that performance, her and Theo Rossi are fantastic together. They have unbelievable chemistry. But I will. There's a scene where she gets too big for her britches, and she's selling stolen televisions, and she breaks her rule and meets somebody in her parking lot at her house, and that scene alone was. Uh, Her performance in that scene going from like scared to angry to attack is unreal. Um, she's she's had a hell of a year,
Mhm.
and I think this movie is one that is now streaming, and you should watch it if you haven't. It is a surprisingly good and effective, very low budget film.
Yeah, she has also transitioned into producing, so I think that's why we're also getting some very exciting, eclectic things that we haven't seen her in recently because she's taking a more control of her career. So that's very
She's a
cool.
boss. There's no doubt, right? Like, and it's cool that she's getting a chance to be at the head and make some decisions about her career in a way that she wasn't before.
Yeah. For
So we jump
me,
into favorite television, buddy.
no, I have one more. I have one more,
Oh,
my friend.
go for it.
Yeah. Uh, I, I I don't know. I think more people should be talking about her. But Mia Goth in Pearl is it's incredible. I think Mia Goth uh, has every opportunity as far as if she wants to go down this road, she will be the new horror queen, and she might be the horror queen. Um, she is gives such an incredible performance, not only in Pearl, but in X, which is came out first, but Pearl is kind of a prequel to it. Um, it's hard to even explain how is just like full commitment to this character in Pearl that's repressed, and has big ideas and big dreams and is constantly kind of just like squashed down and just like gets to a breaking point, um, but is also like kind of insane and delusional, and um, and I'm really excited for Mia Goth's next movie, which is called Infinity Pool, which she seems insane. Like, part of me is so like intrigued with Mia Goth because I think she might be insane. And I mean that in all the best ways, but like she's also very like timid and like in interviews, she's like very demure and quiet and she has a super high pitched voice. But then all of a sudden, like you watch these movies and she's like a powder keg. And that is really showcased really well in Pearl. So
Well,
if you had,
Infinity Pool is directed by Brandon Cronenberg, so David Cronenberg's son.
yeah,
Uh, I ex- I feel like this is one of those passing on the mantles. I think Brandon's done a few films, but this is he's getting a chance to get sort of actors who are at the top of their game to
mhm,
come and play in his world. It's Mia Goth,
yeah,
Alexander Skarsgård, Cleopatra Coleman. Like it's a cast, man.
yeah,
Yeah, I think Infinity Pool is a surprise. It's debuting at Sundance, and it's boy is it going to be fun.
yeah. And she's so creepy in it. But if you haven't seen Pearl yet, I highly recommend checking it out. It's just a crazy, well done movie. Yeah, and Mia Goth is awesome.
Let's jump over to favorite television shows. I think I alluded to it earlier in part one. Andor is my show of the year. There's no doubt on the limited space. We know that Andor is a limited run. It's I think it's going to be 2 seasons. So this is favorite television show limited is where we're going with this. I think this did everything I ever wanted from adding on to the Star Wars canon. It does what I've often talked about, which is it makes the universe bigger instead of smaller. It's telling stories that have never been touched upon in the past. It's fleshing out certain characters that we know a little bit about. It is making their stories more robust and sadder. Mon Mothma's story is an unbelievable little aside to what feels like a much more important story, but we know where she goes, right?
Mhm.
We know that there's no Luthen when we get to A New Hope, right? Like what these characters are changing the way that we think about Star Wars. And I feel like Rogue One did that, and I feel like this is Rogue One on steroids. It has 8 hours to tell the story in the first season. I think we get the best of writing this year, maybe have made it to the screen in Andor. Like some of those speeches, like I mentioned earlier, are some of the most moving things I've seen this year.
Mhm.
Luthen's
Yeah.
speech is he is so in between. He's so gray. He looks like a Sith in that moment, right? His billowy cape, like it's unbelievable what is pulled off and accomplished in this show. And it is also full of fantastic. It could have also been an ensemble cast for me. There's so much going on here with the surprising casting of some of the characters, the bringing back of characters that we knew from
Mhm.
other properties. It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah. I because I knew that this was gonna be, more than one season, I put this in the ongoing,
Okay.
uh, favorite TV show ongoing that we have, next, but I concur with everything you're saying. I totally agree. It's a fantastic piece of television, and, I mean, everyone is saying it's, like, the best Star Wars stuff that's come out in a long, long time,
Yeah.
and, it's hard to argue with that.
What's
Um,
your number one in this category?
I think this is my number 1, and this is, like, a true number 1, like, this was my favorite, uh, limited series television show, and that goes to The English, which I watched, on Amazon Prime. This is, Emily Blunt, stars, and she really drives the show. This is a revenge western that takes place, um uh, in the Wild West, and she has come over from England to avenge the death of her son. It also co-stars an indigenous actor named Chaske Spencer, who is incredible in this as well. Um, it's such a great revenge story. She is fantastic in it. It is also just like very gritty and brutal and shows you that like those times were not good times. Um, and it spans. There are things that happen in the UK. There are things that happen here. So it's like, it's kind of, it's a far, the scope is pretty far, but also it's just so beautifully shot, and a
Yeah.
lot of time, like, um, Chaske Spencer and Emily Blunt will be riding horses across the screen, and it will take, like a good chunk of time because they're so far back, and you're just seeing the the plains of the West, just like immersive and stuff, and it's fantastic. It's such a great show. It was a show that like I binged hard because I just like couldn't get enough of it. So I think I watched this in like a day and a half. It was so good.
Wow. It's one that's definitely on my list. Here, there's a show called The Watch, which is the Ringer podcast about sort of the TV and film industry, but it's mostly TV focused, and they are all in on the English.
Oh,
So
awesome.
I've been hearing about this a lot. They've
Nice.
talked about it on their best of the year. They've talked about it as the show is going on. Like it's
Nice.
definitely one that's made its way onto my radar. This should be no surprise to anybody, but White Lotus is on my list of favorite limited television show. Again, the capsule nature and the idea that Mike White created here of following an entire season around a luxury resort of assholes and
Mhm.
getting a chance to see behind the curtain of why these assholes act the way they do is something my wife and I talk about. You go to a resort and you're like, I wonder why that guy's being mean to his kid, and then you get to see it when they get back to their room, right? Like
Mhm.
that is something everybody does, and I think Mike White has captured something in humanity in this show. Our want to see why people are the way they are, and sometimes to peek behind the curtain of the rich and famous, and
Mhm.
realize that they are also not happy
Yeah.
at times, right? An unbelievable show. It's a crazy premise, and I think season two of it was pretty unbelievable.
Cool. Um,
But it's
Also,
limited because we don't know when it's going to end, right? And
yeah.
it's always a single season. So,
Yeah, and it's it's like they're like each season
yeah,
is its own story.
yep.
Um, my next pick is also about rich people being assholes per se, and something that I don't think we ever really touched upon. I think I like mentioned it in passing, talking about other movies and stuff or other television shows um, before on the show, but We Crashed on Apple TV was absolutely enthralling, and I was so hooked on this show. I know that Jared Leto can be very polarizing as an actor, but his performance in this, he does this ridiculous accent, which I think is, I don't even know if it's what the actual. So this is the show that is based on the rise and fall of WeWork, which was a company where like you went and you go and you pay to like have workspace. They were all over New York City, and they still are. I guess maybe they're still owned. They're owned by someone else maybe now or whatever. But I still see the signs when I'm in New York. But anyway, this is like his rise and quick fall, and he's an insane human being. Both Jared Leto and the person that he's playing, um, Adam Newman. Anne Hathaway is also really incredible in this, and just like the story is really insane as well. Like what these people, how they just thought they could do anything, um, is just like you're just like hypnotized by them, and his performance is really incredible in it. I think it's gonna pretty much be overlooked for any kind of recognition moving forward, but you shouldn't sleep on this one. I think this is something that people should watch.
For me, I'm going to jump over to the Bear. I think this is listed currently as limited. I think it's been re-upped for a second
Oh,
season, but
okay, cool.
I left it in the limited category because that's the way it was shot. It was shot as
Mm,
though this is the end. That show took me by the lapels and dragged me into the food service industry, reminded me why I love it and why it's frustrating and
mm,
how powerful it is to be a part of a a pirate ship. Um, it's got it's got the greatest cameo maybe of the year for me,
Mm.
of the brother. It is the Wonder episode that is 28 minutes long, and a single shot is, it's a technical marvel to pull that off, in that space. It's emotional, it's moving, it's powerfully broken. It is everything I wanted in this show. I didn't know I wanted.
Mm.
It's an unbelievable television show. I'm excited to hear that it's getting renewed. And I think it's sort of the signal that there's an awful lot of people in that show that'll get more recognition because of this show. And I really do think if you haven't seen it, you should take the time. The Bear is worth every second you put into it.
Yeah, I haven't fully watched the whole season, but yeah, it's a fantastic show. Um, I've got two more. How
That's
many
it
you
for
got?
me. That's it for me. Unlimited. So go for it.
Okay. Next one for me is a show I talked about on the podcast. A Friend of the Family was a show that was on Peacock, and this was go to television for me because it came out. It came, just like one episode a week, like things used to, or things sometimes still do. You couldn't binge the whole thing, and this was the story, the true story of Robert Birchtold. Was a pedophile who he tricked a young girl into believing that he was working with aliens to save the world. Uh, and and yeah, it takes place, I think, in the 50s, and he takes advantage of like a Mormon family, and the cast is comprised of Colin Hanks as the father, Anna Paquin is the mother, and they are just like you're just so angry how gullible and, like, to be honest, stupid they are. But then every episode they're like redeeming themselves, and then you're like, no, you're dumb again. No, you're amazing. No, you're stupid. And it's just obviously, like, um, when you're dealing with pedophilia, it's a very intense topic. But the show was so well done. Kudos to Jake Lacey, who I mean, I first knew of Jake Lacey from like his small, like, role in The Office, where like he kind of came in later as like he was like a Jim clone almost. Um, but he's worked pretty consistently. But I think, like, oh, and he was also in the first season of the White Lotus.
Mm. Yep.
Um, so, yeah, I think that he's so fantastic in this, and I think, again, he's like, I hope that this is like just something that, like, propels his career even further than it's already gone.
Do you have one more, or is that it?
Oh, yes, and finally, for me, this is something that came out, I think, early in 2022, so we didn't talk about it on the podcast, but it was an original series on Hulu, The Dropout. Have you seen The Dropout?
I have not. I hear Amanda Seyfried is amazing in it.
She is indeed amazing. So this is the story of Elizabeth Holmes, who created this company where you could take a drop of blood and pretty much do everything health related that you needed to diagnostically, and it was a big scam. But uh, I mean, the story of how she got away with it is really intriguing. But man, oh man, Amanda Siegfried. I've always been a fan of hers, but this is her taking it to the next level now.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's on my limited favorite TV shows of the year.
So I'll jump into. I have two on favorite television show ongoing. You mentioned it earlier, Severance. I'm really excited to see where it goes. I think
Nice.
the finale episode may be the best finale episode of a single season this year.
Mm.
Boy, the production does that. If we were going to talk production design on television, It's up there. The
Yeah.
world is gorgeous. The variance between the severed world and the non-severed world is obvious, and there's a like Apple like rigidity and whitewashing in the severed world that
Mhm.
feels artificial. And God, it's so unbelievable. And I think there's not eh, it is a show where the ensemble is surprisingly good, but also there are excellent individual performances in almost every episode. Um,
Yes.
it's a surprisingly good show. If you haven't watched it, you are in for a treat. I wish I hadn't seen it so I could watch it again. That's how I feel about the show.
I think it's severed to do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Um, for me, so I also I concur. Severance is on my list. I have Severance is on my list of ongoing, and Andor because I knew that there was going to be a second season is also on my favorite ongoing. And then this is kind of a 1-2 punch, but I'll say that Peacemaker was one of my favorite shows this year, and
Yep.
it's getting, as far as we know, it's getting a season 2, so it is an ongoing show. Um, Man, oh man, did John Cena knock it out of the park?
Yeah.
Not only in the second the James Gunn helmed Suicide Squad, but man, he just killed it in every single one of these episodes.
Yep.
Um, as a vigilante superhero. I mean, there is a character called Vigilante who is also really great. I mean,
He rules.
this show could also be up in our favorite TV ensemble um, category. The ensemble is an incredible. Um, but man, oh man, John, this I think this was a turning point in John Cena's career, and
Yeah.
he was really great about like going on the entire press tour for this show in costume. He was on
Yeah.
all the talk shows in costume. He did all the interviews in costume. Um, and it's just like a testosterone, like just like 80s hair metal rock
Yeah.
superhero fun time with a
Yep.
lot of hot. So yeah.
Um, I think the other one is one you turned me on to, and I haven't caught up yet. But Reservation Dogs
Nice.
is an unbelievable show that I think I'm very lucky that I've been able to slow roll. I'm
Mm.
I'm actually like a full season behind right now, so I'm kind of cheating by smuggling it in here. But I did watch two or three full seasons already, and completely blown away by this show.
And it's still
It
going
is
on, and it is your favorite. So there you go.
yeah,
It
it's
makes
moving. It's funny. It's grounded. It's sad. It is the strangest show I've been moved by in a very long time.
mm,
But when it comes down to it, it's just kids, right?
yep.
It's kids who are trying to find their way in the world, and there's some silliness with maybe ghosts. Like there's the families are also fun. The show is unbelievable. The bully kids in the first season are so funny, and how they're mad at the reservation dogs, and that's how they get their nickname with the twins riding the bikes. And he's like, "Yo, man, watch out for the reservation dogs. They're a gang." And it's the four kids that we've met at the beginning. That's how they actually get their name. It's so fun and so irreverent and shows what really familial friendship love is all about.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a
It's a
great show.
fantastic show. Yeah. Um, and then for me, is that your last one?
That's it for me right now. Yep.
So I'll wrap up this category by saying that this year, like I was always happy John when a new episode of The Boys aired on. The show continues to just be the antithesis of the Marvel, the Marvel machine,
Yep.
where you just have hard R, dare I say, like NC-17 slash unrated
Yeah.
interpretations of superheroes, and it's just such a well done show. Dare I say, it's better than the comic book that it's based off of, and
Well, and it also like deflates some of its mythos. Like they did Hero Gasm, And sure, it's Herogasm, but it's not nearly as debauchery filled because every episode is debauchery. Like
Right.
Herogasm in the comic book just feels so over the top.
Which is like
But
a big superhero orgy
yeah,
thing in the
and when you get to it in the show, it's just like another episode because every episode is Herogasm, basically.
yeah. But I enjoy it. I enjoy it so
Yeah,
much.
it's
So,
so fun and so
yeah.
silly. Yeah, it's
Jeffrey Dean Morgan
unbelievable.
has been just announced to be joining the cast of the next season, so he's going from Walking Dead to they're getting like all the badasses from all the shows, successful
Yes.
shows that like dudes watch, like Jensen Ackles from Supernatural
Yeah.
came into the show, and now we have Jeffrey Dean
Well,
Morgan.
the big question is, are they going to get like Arnold or Sly? Right? Like, I think a final season where one of those guys shows up could be ridiculous. Like, if Bruce Willis was
You're
still
saying,
making
are you saying
anything,
you want the Samaritan to show up in
I
The
want
Boys?
what
You want the
I,
Samaritan to show up in The
I would
Boys?
love the Samaritan or the King himself from Tulsa.
Ah,
I think if Bruce Willis was still making movies or TV, this is a show that would be ripe for him to have a guest spot on.
yeah,
Uh, it's absolutely the kind of thing I feel like he would have been great in. Yeah,
yeah,
The Boys is super fun. It is absolutely the show that I would laugh about more than any other television show I think I watched this whole year. It's
yeah.
so ridiculous. Let's jump over to favorite film directors. How many do you have in this list?
Um, I technically have 4, but not really, and one of them I'm just gonna say, like, a sentence about, so,
Okay, why don't you start us off with your one sentence?
I just wanna say, James Cameron, like, great job, like, "No Way of Water." Took you forever, but well worth the wait, so,
It's so funny because on the Big Picture podcast, literally, Sean Fennessy has been saying for like a year and a half, whenever anybody says anything, like, "Don't bet against Big Jim," right? Like,
yeah,
and it's truly there's no way to argue. He made an amazing giant blockbuster and surprised no one who
yeah,
believes in him, right? Like,
yeah.
yeah, that's am I walking away from Avatar: The Way of Water is like, yeah, yeah, yep,
I I w It's like I would expect nothing else now. So,
yeah.
good. That's all I gotta say about that one. So, James Cameron, good job.
Good job. So mine's not really a smuggle. It's more like they both need to get credit for this. I'm going to call out Guillermo del Toro and Mark Gustafson for Pinocchio. I think it is Guillermo's vision and Mark's ability to wrangle one of the most loving chaos monkeys in cinema that made this movie work. I think
Mhm.
if Guillermo was all by himself, it would be a very different experience. I think Mark is such a steady hand and so unbelievable in the interviews that we've seen, but also like he needs to get the credit for the amount of work that he oversaw. Right at one point, we know that there were 60 individual sets running. There's no way that Guillermo was doing that by himself.
Mhm.
So there's a director, there's an assistant director, there's a second director. Right? There's a billion people doing this job. But boy, I don't know that I was expecting what we got in Pinocchio, but it moved me. It is gorgeous, and it is really the singular vision of Guillermo codified into a film. And great job, Mark, for being able to wrangle it.
Yeah. I've got 2 more.
Yep.
Um, I think that this one might be on your list as well. I think that this is not a surprise, as we're ending the year and we're reflecting on movies that that were a critical success. The Daniels, who directed Everything Everywhere All at Once, Daniel Kwan and Daniel uh, Shi uh, Scheinert, like to be called the Daniels.
Yep.
What an incredible movie! They with you know they are the funnel in which that movie came to fruition, and man, oh man, it's like I mean, I don't know what else we could say about it, especially if you've listened to part one. We've talked about it in part one of this podcast episode as well. It's just a fantastic movie, and they did a great job.
It's so funny because you can talk about it as a singular vision of two minds, right? Like
Mm.
from the writing to the directing, it is far and away the movie that surprised me the most this year. I They weren't on my radar. I've never seen any of their films before this, and when it comes down to it, I if I was writing a check to buy into somebody's career, they would be on that list of 5 or 10 people that I would buy stock in.
Mhm.
They have created something that has changed the way that people think about what can be done in a movie, and not many people can say that.
And shout out to like duo directors, like the
Yeah,
Russo brothers and these guys. Like the Russo brothers they've made they directed the highest grossing movie of all time, and you know, I don't know, they're great too. So, shout out to them. And I've got one more for favorite film director, and that's Baz Luhrmann for Elvis.
wow,
Um, yeah,
he directed a lot of movie.
yeah, and I will go on the record, and I think I might have when we talked about Elvis. I don't like Baz Luhrmann. I've not really liked any of his movies. I don't like his Romeo and Juliet. I don't
Mhm.
like Moulin Rouge. I didn't like Australia. I don't know what else he's done. Oh, he did Strictly Ballroom, I think?
He also did Gatsby, right?
Yeah, and I didn't even see Gatsby.
Yeah,
Uh, but I was blown away by this movie, and I think I might have said it when we talked about it on the podcast, like, give this guy a Marvel franchise.
yeah,
Give this guy a Marvel IP or a superhero IP, and, "Hey, DC, like, knock, knock. You're in this, like, fixing pattern,
yeah.
whatever. Call up Baz Luhrmann, see if he's interested in doing New Gods."
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Like anything Kirby related, right? Like, good lord, let's go.
Like, or like, what would Baz Luhrmann do with the Creeper? You know, like, whatever. Like, I think that this movie, like, kind of reopened my eyes to him as a director, and, yeah, and this movie, I'm a big fan of this Elvis movie. I think it's horny AF, and I think I said that before, but I mean that in the best possible way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I think that
it's a moving film, and it surprised me. Again, not the film I think we were all expecting,
Mhm,
but the more time I spend away from it, the more time I can't stop thinking about Austin Butler's performance.
mhm.
So it's obviously directed, right? Like
Yeah,
Austin Butler is not a guy who's been, he's made 100 films. Like he's directed to high holy hell in this film. It feels like,
yeah,
and he's taken it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Okay, that's all for that I have for my favorite directors of this year. Let's switch over to our favorite foreign language film.
So I have three. Where are you at?
I have two, and I bet we share one.
Um,
You go
Sorry,
first.
I only have two. Yeah, sorry. One is not.
Okay.
So my first one is Decision to Leave. It is an unbelievable film. It is absolutely positively electrifying. It is Park Chan Wook really writing a script for two actors. He had never worked with Sung Se Ray before. He'd never worked with Tang Wei before, who plays Sung, and he wanted to, and wrote a character because uh, her character is not. I, sorry about the nationality. It's been a while since I saw it. The actor does not speak natively the language of the film, and he wrote it that way specifically. She is from from a different country, and it gave him an opportunity to work with an actress that he's wanted to work with. And they do a lot utilizing like an iWatch to record messages and
Oh,
to
cool.
translate things in a really interesting. He's not a director that uses a lot of technology, and he found a way to make all of this work in a really beautiful way. Um, it- Tang Wei in Another World would get nominated for Best Actress. To be honest, she's
Mm.
electric on camera. He knows how to elicit from her the best you can ask for. And Park Hyel, who plays the main character and the detective, is unreal. He's so good at like sadness and longing, and that's what Park Chan Wook does. He makes movies about like longing and love and empathy and whether or not you can trust Tang Wei's character, right? Like it's a film noir sort of. It's 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 a unique experience that I've seen, and this year, and it was at Middleburg. It was another one of those that I got up and went to like a 9 o'clock showing because there was only one showing of it at the film festival,
Mhm.
and it paid off in spades. It's currently on Mubi, so you can get like a 7 day trial and watch it. They're distributing it. It's a unique situation to get a Park Chan Wook film in America streaming, B to get it through a non Criterion channel is also pretty unique. If you haven't watched more of his films, there's a bunch on the Criterion channel that you should go check out. It's probably worth the $10 just to go watch Park Chan Wook films, but it's also got 48 of the Sight and Sound films from this year's BFI. So this film was unbelievable and a really great experience. And there's also some really unique experiences with the camera. They tell the story from a dead character's perspective for a moment. He brings characters in that couldn't possibly be there. They're almost like ghosts in the room. It's a different. He's doing things at a heightened level that he has not done before, and I think that is all I could ask for from this director, who I love what he's done in the past. He's still taking big swings and trying something new.
Amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely something that I've been hearing a lot about, and it is now on my radar. My first foreign language favorite film. We've talked about it before.
Yep.
We talked about maybe doing a whole podcast about this movie, but it is RRR.
Yes.
Um, it's uh, if anyone hasn't listened to us talk about the movie in prior episodes, this is like a this is like a fictitious story about two legendary revolutionaries, um, and it takes place in like the 20s,
Hmm.
um, and and it takes place in uh, like India. Like I get nervous, like if it takes place in India, right?
Yes.
I was like, ugh, I don't want to be, I don't want to say the wrong thing. But it takes place in India, and it's just an epic feat of of film. It's a great movie. It's like a little bit of popcorn movie, a little bit of like drama, a little bit of musical, a little bit of everything, and I think that is, and it's a great, for me, especially because it is for me. It's a gateway drug into
Yeah.
more of what that region of the world has to offer,
Yeah.
as far as movies go.
I
Um,
mean, it's honestly, it's also on my list, and I think it's a huge. It's amazing. I was talking to somebody recently, and they were like, I was interested to see what was going to break in from India to the American market. If you think about
mhm.
like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and how it infused wushu into the American culture,
Yeah,
what is going to happen from Bollywood or to Hollywood? What's going to be the film? And
right.
boy, we couldn't ask for a better introduction to this type of cinema.
Yeah.
The two main leads, it would be almost impossible to cast them separately. They are co-leads of this film.
Mhm.
They are both powerful, smart, strong, empathetic, broken in different ways, and I had such a good time with this film.
Mhm.
I think my synopsis was like I think I said this movie rules out loud like 8 or 12 times. Like if you could sit down like an 8 year old to watch this film and get him past the having to read the screen,
Mhm.
even put on the English dub, I don't care. This is a movie that every little kid, once you can get them into the film, is going to love.
Yeah.
It's a little hard, so you may want to wait till 12. But boy, it's an unbelievable film, and
Yeah.
was definitely one of my favorites of this year.
Do you have I have one more for favorite
Uh,
foreign language.
no, I'll let you ride. Go for it.
So this one's a kind of a workaround,
Okay.
but
Hmm.
I gotta say, Prey with
Mm.
the Comanche dub
Yep.
was incredible.
Yeah.
Prey is it's a prequel to the Predator franchise. This takes place uh, in the early years of quote unquote the new world, where you know fur trappers are there's a lot of fur trapping, and we follow this young Comanche girl as she wants to become a warrior, and a young predator comes and arrives. Um, a young Yautja comes to the earth, um, to kind of become a warrior. There you go. I was serving you up there. The great thing about this is, like the cast is predominantly indigenous, and they didn't film the movie in Comanche. They filmed it in English, but
Hmm.
they went back and they redubbed it in Comanche. So some of the dub is like some of the mouth sync is like not the greatest, but with technology nowadays, I've researched. It's like they're actually using like AI technology to like actually manipulate people's uh um mouths for dubs when they do them now. So I didn't know if they did that for this, but when you do it in the Comanche dub, it's just so engrossing, and you feel it's so amazing to hear the Comanche language. It's so amazing to kind of like not know the Comanche language and like just kind of like follow along. And then when like fur trappers come, they are speaking in French, or then all of a sudden you hear English for the first time in a movie that's been going on for like an hour. It's just a really cool experience. So if you've seen the movie and you liked it, awesome. If you haven't seen it in the Comanche language, you when I looked for it on Hulu, it was a totally separate movie that you had to click on. So worth doing some searching around. It was on Disney Plus if you're over in a different country that doesn't have Hulu. But definitely check it out.
So I'm going to jump over to animated film. I have three. This should be no surprise. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is my first. It
Right.
is a triumph. Good luck, everybody else trying to get an award this year. It's crazy. It's gorgeous. It's moving. It's powerful. It's the perfect collaboration of stop motion animation, sound, and story.
Mhm.
The voice acting in it is unbelievable. The whole thing from soup to nuts, it might be the most powerful film I saw this year, and that's saying something. To be
Mhm.
honest, this has been a pretty good year for cinema. I think Pinocchio is probably going to win all the awards. So I've been gushing about it across both of these episodes. It's unbelievable, and our entire episode we talked about.
Yeah, I concur. I have nothing else to add except that I concur, and it will be very hard to beat this one.
Yeah. What's your first, and how many do you have?
That's it, my friend. I just have that.
Oh,
Just
I'm going to jump in like two others. Marcella
yeah,
Shell with Shoes On. Boy, that movie is emotional, moving, beautiful. Taking something that was a small, independent creation and finding a path to not
on YouTube.
destroying its legacy and
Yeah.
making something beautiful out of it. The
Mhm.
movie's unreal. Its use of stop motion, its use of effects. Again, voice acting from Jenny Slate is and Isabella Rossellini, unreal.
Mhm.
It's so beautiful, and it's a film that we should show every child to think about loss and about family. It's unreal. My last one is Turning Red. I don't know that we've spent any time talking about it on this show.
I don't
I
think
think
so. I don't
Turning
think it yeah, we didn't it came out before we started.
It did, and I think Turning Red is fantastic. I think it is a movie that got a lot of heat online for no good reason. It is a movie that absolutely captures what it feels like to be growing up, to be changing, to not be seen by your family, to be your family, right? Like it's a unflinching look at what it is like to be infatuated with. the characters that make up your world, and crushes on your people in school. It's beautiful. It's a super fun movie, and also it has music by Phineas and Billie Eilish. It's probably some of the best songs written for an animated film, except for maybe
Mm,
Soul, to be honest.
mhm.
That's it
Um,
for me on animated.
yeah, and I'll jump directly into our favorite film that was a non-blockbuster, and I'll jump in because I wasn't sure if I wanted to put this in the prior category, but Marcel the Shell with Shoes On,
Yep.
I put here in my favorite non-blockbuster film.
Okay.
I put it here because, just honestly, because I was remembering how hard it was to see.
Yeah.
It was like, it was like this is the gold standard for a non-blockbuster because, like, it was just so we 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 tried so hard to see this movie.
Highest quality film to most effort to see it.
Yeah, and, it's just a fantastic, fantastic small it's like a small story with a big reach, you know?
Yep.
And, yeah, like, as you were talking about it, like, remembering Isabella Rossellini
Yeah.
and, like, the moment where she kind of, you know, goes to a different plane.
Yeah.
That's like it's really sad, and I think that it's such a well done movie. I wish that it had gotten like I don't know how the sausage is made that much as
Yeah.
far as these movies go, but like I just wish it got more support from A24 and
Yeah.
it got wider distribution. Um, but yeah, I thought it was a fantastic, fantastic movie.
So I'll jump over to where A24 did a great job for the budget of $14.3 million. Everything Everywhere All at Once is the first $100 million film for A24. It is absolutely in my favorite films of the year, and
Mm.
that's why it lands here based
Yep.
on its budget. Boy, I can't imagine getting this film done. I can't believe that this film only cost what it cost, right? Like
Yeah.
that is one of the things we've talked about a bunch, is that this movie was surprising in the way that it used every part of the buffalo. It used every piece of the apple, right? Like including the core. It's unreal the things that they were able to accomplish in this film for the amount of money it cost to make.
Yeah, and look, I think people should get paid whatever they can get paid.
Yep.
But it's so interesting. Like, if you cast this movie differently, this budget would have been twice as much as it is
Yep.
just to pay the people who are in front of the camera. So I kudos to everyone. Kudos to everyone in this movie. I think this is also on my list. Obviously, it's a fantastic movie.
Yep.
I think the love and care and excitement for doing this movie is all on screen,
Yeah.
and I think that the people on screen are siphoning the excitement of the people off screen who are working diligently to and passionately to have gotten this movie made. So, um, I've got two more. How about you?
I have two more.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot my shot first then.
Go for it.
Um, uh, a movie that we covered that is being left off every radar for some strange reason is Vesper.
Yeah. It
This
is also
movie
on my list, dude.
this movie is incredible, and I don't understand why more people aren't seeing it.
Yes.
And that people aren't recognizing it who can help like propel its reach. Like the award season has forgotten about this movie, and it is an incredibly well done sci-fi. Uh, I mean, we did a whole episode on it, but
Yeah.
it is a bleak future, uh, and it's I don't know it's very organic. It was very visceral. The acting is incredible.
Yeah.
and the logic in which the world works was all made sense to me, but I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, but it's also it's all very imaginative and futuristic." So I
Five
j
million pounds to make this film. It's a sci-fi film with effects, with a floating head, like
Mhm,
unbelievable. It wrecked me. I've watched it multiple times. I own it. We've talked about it multiple times. I've tweeted about it. I've posted on Instagram. The entire production company has gotten behind and liked and commented on stuff. This is a
mhm.
film that more people should be seeing, and
Yeah,
I'm hopeful that if we keep ringing the bell for this movie, that it will get recognized. It's a powerful treatise on family, on what we're doing to the planet. On It's unreal.
yeah. What else do you have, my friend?
So back to A24 because apparently they're paying me. Budget is somewhere between $9 and $20 million. It is a film that had its critical release at Cannes last year, but it was only released in America in March of 2022, and it is Kogonada's singular vision that is After Yang. That movie is unbelievable. It is about family. It is about what makes someone part of your family. It is about your historical piece. What connects you to the world. Uh, it's about what makes you real. It's about memory. It's about it's moving and beautiful and honestly, it really it was an early film that I watched that I described to my wife, and she was like, "That movie's too sad. I can't watch it."
Mm,
Yes, yes, it's gorgeous. It is one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had, and I can tell you very pointedly that it is a film that got a lot of critical buzz early in the year and has been sort of mentioned a bunch, but is now a film that I think should get recognized a lot more. It is a completely botched rollout. This movie went out to Showtime at the same time it went to theaters in
mm,
March of this year and in May of this year, I think it was. And it is an unbelievable film that not enough people saw.
mm. Yeah, I don't what so when did it come out? What
It was
we were
released. Its original release was in the Cannes Film Festival at 21, but it didn't get its actual release in the U.S. until March 4th of 2022.
Oh, right on.
So just before we
Yeah,
started the podcast.
right on. Y I've got one more.
Okay.
I've already talked about this and the lead actress, but Pearl was a movie that was super impactful, and it's just such a great film. It takes place in like the early 20s, like 1918, I think, and yeah, it's a story about a girl who wants to be a star,
Yeah.
but she's just oppressed and she's forced down. She has to take care of um her her father, who is kind of pretty much comatose, and it's there's like and also her mother is a German immigrant, and is very strict and very stern. um yeah, it's just a fantastic movie. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it. Also by distributed by A24.
Yeah. They had a year. Let's
Yeah.
see. Let's jump over to Blockbuster. These are just now we're ticking off the hits. I have three. How many do you have?
Only got two, so I'm sure
Are
you
they
I'm
all
sure
films we've already discussed?
they are.
So the Batman, in my opinion, it's a singular vision for the character that we've known for so many years, and
Mhm.
I think it is absolutely, hopefully, the beginning of telling this story in his fashion. Let him keep going. Let Robert Pattinson grow into the role. I think he's fantastic in it. I'm really excited to see where this goes next.
Yeah, who knows where the future of these DCU movies go.
Yep.
I hope there's a multiverse situation where they can make movies with different Batman,
Yep.
or I don't know, who knows? I'm not gonna speculate. I just like hope that. Yeah.
We
It's
just want more films of this quality and caliber, in my
yeah.
opinion. Like
Yeah.
DC, you've got a couple. Like let's focus on those.
Yeah. We've already talked about this movie, or I especially have already talked about this movie. Obviously, so it's no wonder that Top Gun Maverick this is my favorite blockbuster film of this year.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it's one of the few that I saw multiple times in theater. It stuck with me. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I am with you. It's my number two. I
yeah.
have no complaints here. My number three is RRR. It actually has probably it is neck and neck for Top Gun Maverick right now on
Mm,
my top 10 of the year. It is a hell of a lot of movie. It
yeah.
is so powerfully done. The story it's telling is a big bombastic. It is the epitome of what I wish other filmmakers who made big bombastic films could have done this year. I think
Mhm,
they landed the plane here in a really amazing way.
yeah. Um, Totally agree. And then for me, it's like, yeah, Avatar, Where the Water. Good job, Mr. Cameron.
Good job, Jim Cameron. Can't
We
wait to see
look,
two or three more of them.
yeah, we did a whole podcast about a review on this.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it's a tour de force.
So our final category is who had the best 2022, or stealing from our friends with the rewatchables. Who won this year, right?
Mm,
In my opinion, I have four people, and I think we could probably add in which studio won this year, and we've mentioned them a lot of times. A24 won this year. It's crazy how many films they made that we've discussed or that are in awards conversations. The amount of conversations I've heard with people saying that what's her name from X and Pearl, Mia Goth.
mhm.
It's criminal that she's not going to get nominated, right?
Yeah.
It's A24 is backing really interesting plays and has made
Mhm,
an amazing set of films this year, and they should be
yeah.
super proud of it. As a distribution company, they are backing really interesting movies and letting an awful lot of auteurs get a chance to create amazing films.
I mean, the only tough thing about backing so many good stuff in a single year is like when you have to do the whole like for your consideration.
Yeah,
There's so much that you want everyone to consider. That's not cheap to get behind certain people
yeah.
for nominations.
So I have four. So I'll start off. Colin Farrell, in my opinion, there's very few people that are having a year that he's having.
Mhm,
After Yang came out this year, you've got him in the Batman as Penguin, and
mhm,
you've got him in Banshees and Sheeran, likely being nominated and possibly winning for Best Actor. It's been a year. He's gotten a chance to play leading men, sad, somber leading men in After Yang, to play an over the top caricature character in the Batman. And in Banshees and Sheeran, he's the most empathetic, caring character I've seen in
yeah,
such a long time on film.
yeah.
His year has been amazing, and
Oh,
honestly,
oh,
it's a rough one to try to compare other people to what Colin has pulled
mhm.
off this year is unbelievable.
Well, he's also had one of the best episodes of Hot Ones on YouTube, which is
I
very enjoyable,
haven't
and
seen it yet. I can't wait.
he's very charming.
Yeah,
I don't know if he eats the whole wings every time, but, like, he doesn't there are some episodes of that show that everyone is afraid of their image, and
yeah,
he's just there, he just talks about being an actor, and he's very humble, and he's just, like, likes to work,
yeah,
you know? There's a part at the end of every episode of Hot Ones where they're like, "This camera, this camera, this camera, tell him what you got going on," and you get to shamelessly plug whatever you're going on. And he kinda does, but he's also kinda just like, "I'm out of work and I don't know what I'm doing now, so, if you got any work for me." That's gonna be a terrible impression, but yeah, he's like, "I'm just a working actor and I don't have anything lined up right now, so if anyone can, get me some work, that's great."
it's
And I'm like,
funny. Hot Ones is becoming one of those things that I really enjoy. And my person who's probably the runner up that didn't make this list is Aubrey Plaza, and her Hot Ones
"Mm."
is freaking epic. It is one
Oh
of the
my god.
funniest episodes of all time.
Yeah.
So how many do
Uh,
you have left? I had four total. How many do you have left?
I've got I've got 4. I could maybe skip 1, but we'll see.
Uh,
Um,
Let me go. I'll jump into Hong Chow. I think she has had one of the most amazing years. Listening to interviews with her, she just had a child. She was planning on taking some time off, and then she got cast in The Whale and cast in the Menu. And
mhm,
she's like, her 2023 is looking amazing. She's stealing these movies that are not her
yeah,
films.
yeah,
She's reaching across and ripping your heart out in The Whale, and in the Menu, like her ability to out Ray Fiennes a little bit is unbelievable. Her taking down of the asshole bankers is friggin' epic.
yeah.
She's just she's having so much fun. She's getting cast because of who she is. She's no longer auditioning. People are calling her up and saying like, "I need you in my film." Like that's saying something. I think her stock changed last year with or 2 years ago with Downsizing, and I think she didn't get enough credit for that film. And
Well, not
I
only
think
that, but, sorry, just to interrupt, but she was absolutely incredible in, the Watchmen series on
Oh
HBO.
yes, she was, no doubt about it. But I think the Hollywood started paying attention with Downsizing, and we're starting
Mhm,
to see that be the reason. Like
right.
we all sort of dunked on that film, and the reality is she's unbelievable in that film.
Mm,
And everybody's paying, everybody who's casting right now, or all the directors are just like, I want her. And
right.
it's pretty obvious that she's becoming the new it girl for sure.
Right. And I will say, speaking of it girls, I think Anya Taylor-Joy had an incredible year, and I
She
think
did.
that she's continue to have a really great year. Some of her movies were very high profile, but were not critical successes or financial successes.
Yep.
That was neither here nor there her fault.
Yep.
She was incredible in The Menu.
Yeah.
She also, like, as you may know, she was also on Pinky Blinders, I believe. I'm not very caught up on that show,
Yep.
but, she was on that. Um, and
The
she was in The
Northman.
Northman.
Yeah.
So, and she has quite a year already ahead of her with 2023,
Yeah.
um, being the voice of Princess Peach, which I'm very excited for. I'm very excited for the Super Mario and, not live action. I did not like that movie back in the day. She is in the Super Mario movie coming out,
Yep.
and
She
also
was
I'm sure
also in
she's
Amsterdam. Like she's been in
right.
a lot of amazing stuff this year. She was
She's
definitely on
also
my short list.
right, and she's also playing Furiosa in the Furiosa prequel to the Mad Max,
Yeah.
Fury Road. So, yeah, so she's
So
doing okay.
she was definitely one that I considered. I was also trying to leave some space because I know that there's a couple of actors that I think we both have a lot of affection for, and she's right there. Like,
Mhm,
boy, she had a hell of a year. I think she probably won 2021, to be honest. Queen's
mhm.
Gambit and things like that really like
Right, but
unbelievable. And Last Night in Soho, right? Like, I think if we were doing this list last year, for me, it would have been she was probably at the top.
yeah,
For me, I think the current it girl is Florence Pugh. I think Florence Pugh
mhm,
won this year. Whether or not you like Don't Worry, Darling, whether or not like she's in The Wonder, she was in she became Black
she's the
Widow.
future yeah,
She's unbelievable. Everything she's doing right now is getting attention. She's now sort of the reason people are opening films. I don't think we've had somebody like that in a while. I think The Wonder is not my favorite film of the year, but it is
mhm,
100% her film, and
right,
she's fantastic in it. And it is not her fault that I didn't like that film.
mhm.
Um, she's unreal. She came out of the Don't Worry, Darling kerfuffle, um, uh, rocketing out of that film.
Well, she was smart. She literally didn't say anything.
She
That
stayed
was
out
the
of the
smart
discourse and let her performance tell the story, and she's
mhm.
unbelievable.
Well,
Who's next for you?
for me, I wanna talk about, Lashana Lynch.
Yeah.
I think she's having a really great year. She was one of the standouts in The Woman King. She was also in I believe that Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness was the highest grossing Marvel movie this year,
Yep.
and she played, a version of Captain Marvel. I'm sure we'll also see her in The Marvels when that comes out. But more importantly, she is maybe one of the best things about Roald Dahl's Matilda the musical. She plays a teacher in that, and she sings, and she's the person besides Matilda, like she's the grown up with all the heart, and she's incredible. Um and last year I think she was a 007 or something.
Mhm.
I didn't see No Time to Die, but like wasn't she like
I think she was, yeah.
you 007? I mean, there you got it right there. Like give her the franchise, you
Yeah.
know? So I think she was an incredible asset to any movie that she was in, and I think that it's about time that someone give her the lead. Give her a
I
train, you know?
I am ready to jump to my final and the person I think won the year. So I'm just going to name a few things that this person has been in:
Mhm.
Scream, Studio 666, X, American Carnage, Big City Greens, Jurassic World, Camp Cretaceous, and Wednesday. Jenna Ortega has a fucking rocket strapped to her back. Wednesday has taken over as the number one stream television show on Netflix ever.
Mhm.
It is 100% riding on her. I think her upcoming year is already looking pretty insane. I expect that she will get more offers coming out of Wednesday. I think she's going to be an actress for the next generation. I think she's going to be making movies for kids. She's going to be making movies for adults. I think she's in that really weird rarefied air that she could play 16 or 26.
Mhm.
She's definitely leveraging what she has done this year, and I expect will probably be on the top 35 under 35 for the next 10 years of her life.
Yes, because she's only 20.
Even
So
better.
15 years.
15 years. Yeah. I think this year alone, like just from Scream to X to Wednesday is enough for almost anybody. But to
Mhm.
be able to sort of helm a show like Wednesday that got so much critical acclaim, but also just it owned Instagram Reels and TikTok and the dance and all of it. Getting Tim Burton back to do a television show, right? Like it, there's so much going on for her that I think there's nothing but upside. Buy
Yeah.
stock, you know.
Yeah. So I've got is that it for you?
That is it for me.
All right. Really quick. I I I it's not particularly like this actor won this year, but they continue to do increasingly more. Their body of work gets bigger and their performances get better, and that's Dave Bautista.
Yeah, truth.
I think I think like this is a guy who came from wrestling, like some other people we know, and he was doing some pretty low budget stuff, and then all of a sudden he's in a huge franchise at Marvel. Then he did Blade Runner. Then he's in a 007 film, and then uh, and this year, he was in Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special. He was in Glass Onion. He had a part in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yep.
But really, next year seems like it's gonna just also be an incredible year for him, especially with not a Knock at the Cabin, the new
Yeah.
trailer for that movie.
R-rated
Seems
Shyamalan. Let's go.
Yeah, it just seems really like he's he's put himself on a very smart trajectory.
Yeah.
And I think
And
that
Rain Johnson said he is the best wrestler turned actor ever.
yeah,
That is his statement.
and when you listen to interviews with Dave Bautista, it's because the man knows he's on bided time, and he just wants to work with the right people, and I think that is an incredibly smart mindset to have.
We got Dune
He
Part 2 coming, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I can't wait to see what his 2023 looks like, to be honest.
yes,
I
yeah,
think you're in the right spot. Yep.
yeah. And then finally for me, I think long ass movies had the best year. I mean, it's the year. I mean, it's we went from like being in lockdown
Yeah.
to like, and then now this year, how many long ass how many movies passed the
How about movies
two?
about movies? I
Yeah,
mean,
that's true.
it's been a year, you know.
Yeah,
Empire Light, Babylon, Fablemans,
yeah,
Bardo. You know, like,
and
oof,
most of them over 2 hours and 30 minutes.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so long ass movies are, they had a great 2022. Look at Avatar. Look at
R.
yeah. Look at that. Look at Babylon. Um, yeah. So good
This
on
has
you,
been
long ass movies.
super fun to revisit the year with you, John. It's the end of our first year doing this podcast. I am so excited to do more of this next year, and thank you so much for being game and being my partner in crime. This has been a
Ab-
blast.
Absolutely, and thank you for, spearheading this and putting this out into the universe and letting me be along for the ride with you. All the best for Geek on Film in 2023, and thank you for listening. If you've gotten this far, please, please, please like and subscribe. Leave us a comment, 5-star review, and just like reshare and like. It's harder to like tweets now on Twitter now that they have a insane person in charge. But you can, if you click on the actual post, and you can like it. But you can always retweet it. So just help us get the word out, and we look forward to delivering more podcasts in 2023.
See you all in 2023. And as somebody on the big picture says, Sean Fennessy, see you at the movies. It's been a blast. This is so much fun. Thank you all for being a part of it. Have a great year. This has been a Geek on Film podcast. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.